Yo, what is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Good Morning Soul, and I hope you guys are having another beautiful, lovely day. And today I'm going to be talking about those good old, you probably saw the title, you know what this video is about, you know what's going, well, you know what's happening. We're talking about those Chinese cartoons, otherwise known as Japanese animes. Or just anime if you really want to get fucking correct about it. But today I'm talking about how I got into anime, and I know I have upcoming videos where I go into how I got into Dragon Ball Z, and that'll kind of just be the precursor for this. How I got into Dragon Ball Z is very similar to how I got into movies. I was just watching all these old Dragon Ball VHS tapes. It was my dream to have all the Dragon Ball VHS tapes. And eventually I just ended up buying all the DVDs. Super into Dragon Ball Z. I've seen the whole thing at least twice. Burned through those DVD box sets. Eventually, you know, I remember watching Naruto on TV, and Naruto, this was still before I knew what anime was, and even when I was watching Dragon Ball, I was like, okay, I know it's from Japan. I know, the word anime just wasn't, relevant to me until, later on in life. I know I watched commercials of other anime, and I had, an idea, but the, word, the culture, the stuff you need to know just wasn't there, despite the fact that I grew up watching Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! Despite the fact that I love this shit, I just didn't know what it was. And no one ever broke it down for me. I had to, find out, later in life. What it was. And yeah, I remember watching Naruto, watching Dragon Ball, all that stuff, and you know, I kind of gave up on Naruto after the Gaara fight. But as time went on, you know, I wanted to kind of just watch more of the stuff that sounded like anime, because I remember when I started watching more YouTube, you know, there was a bunch of anime videos, and I remember Giguk, who's still making videos, still putting out really great content, one of my top 10 YouTubers, Gigguk, that's how you spell his profile, and he would make basically comedy reviews and stuff like that, and his content is a big part of what drew me into anime. This was 2011, 2012. Around that time is when I got really into his content, and I basically just wanted to watch all the shows that he was talking about, and anything else that caught my eye. I remember my first couple shows were Shaman King, you know, stuff that was similar to Dragon Ball Z that I could understand. And then I remember I was subscribed to Funimation, and they had really trashy harem shows that they were advertising that I kind of threw on, kind of because I just didn't understand. I'm pulling up my anime list, by the way, if you're wondering what that clicking noise was. And I kind of watched a couple harem shows just because I was so I didn't understand that at all, and probably because I was, you know, young as hell, and the idea of a show that involves super attractive women hanging out with a nerdy dude, that probably appealed to me. I can see why that would appeal to me, because I was a nerdy dude myself who hadn't gotten laid at the time. So that was early anime stuff. I remember watching Rosario Vampire, High School DxD, High School with the Dead, you know, which was another thing Giga covered. That's one of his biggest videos, is High School with the Dead review. And you know, I don't think other than Rosario Vampire, I don't think I actually liked any of those shows. I remember even though the fan service was probably why I was watching it, I didn't like it because of fan service. I was very against fan service, and I still am. I really don't like when in anime they really sexualize young girls, and that's never gonna be something I can get over. I know it's white noise to everybody at this point, but sometimes it just really bothers me. And I know it's they're not real, they're drawings, but the fact that we're gonna act like this thing is a 14-year-old and we're gonna sexualize it is disturbing to me. But whatever. And then, you know, I got into more anime films. I remember This is around the time I watched Spirited Away, and that like inspired me to buy like this whole Studio Ghibli box set. And I remember watching like Princess Mononoke, Kiki's Delivery Service. I did watch My Neighbor Totoro as like a young kid, but didn't understand it. But I do remember really enjoying it as a kid. But yeah, I rewatched that. And then I started watching a lot more of the shows that Giguk was talking about, like what is it, Attack on Titan, Sword Art Online, obviously. You know, these were big deals back then, so I had to watch them. This is around the time I watched Soul Eater, which is one of my favorite shows. I remember Angel Beats. That's still like probably in my top 10. I fucking love Angel Beats. That was like one of the first 10 shows I watched, Angel Beats. Other early shows, Noragami, Mysterious Girlfriend X. What else? A lot of these shows were just like early stuff I watched and inspired me and kind of fueled my anime addiction. Dead Man Wonderland, which I've already reviewed. A lot of these shows I don't have scored on Mao because like I want to rewatch it. Like ever since I started my Mao, I haven't been scoring shit. But you know, I plan to rewatch it all one day and review it and give it scores. Anything that like I don't have like a video about isn't scored. So yeah, that was like the early shows I watched. Those are things that like formed my anime like style. And you know, even today, like my Mao account says I've only finished like 107 things, and I know at least 30-40 of those are like movies, Dragon Ball specials, stuff like that. And all of it like even like little things like Mass Effect Paragon Lost, like music videos. So I want to say at this point in time I've only like finished like a couple, like I want to say like 50 shows, which is not much in the grand scheme of things. Like I know anime isn't like as vast as like movies or film or like books, but like 50 shows compared to like other like otaku people is not much. Like I still have a ways to go. Haruhi Suzumiya, that was another early show. Like I remember having this list. It was like in order what I was watching. Like I literally wrote out like this is my first show I ever watched. My second, like Dragon Ball Z was the first one. I remember like the first 20 was like, I remember Ruby was on there. I remember like again Angel Beats and all these other shows. And I was just looking for that piece of paper because I assumed I still had it. But yeah, I don't know what happened to it. And nowadays, you know, I'll watch a little bit more seasonal stuff. I'll watch just whatever piques my interest nowadays. I'll just throw on random shit. I still obviously love watching anime movies. So that's a big, and I occasionally watch like the big long ass shows. My girlfriend's trying to make me watch like Naruto. Panty and Stocking, that was in School Days. Those are a couple other shows in my early watching stuff. Other stuff that Giguk was talking about. Both of those shows are shows he covered, and that's basically what started my interest. So Dragon Ball Z, Giguk the YouTuber, and like just my fascination are like the big three like triggers of what started anime for me. And now it's like I watch more anime than I like do like normal TV shows, and that's all because of my like weird obsession with it, and because you know I like it so much. And it's so weird, it's so much experimental stuff. Like anime, like once you get past all the weird like cultural barriers and all the like I said, stuff that I am still not okay with, the sexualization of like younger girls, stuff like that. Every show has like at least a couple weird quirks about it, but once you get past all that, it's a oasis of amazing. And I remember those first shows I watched, it was like crack, back to back crack. Like the reason people get into anime is because it's so different and the characters are so colorful, the designs, everything about anime like screams like different art. And nowadays it's like I obviously like am not new to it anymore, but back then it was such like a inventive medium. But not anymore. But now it's still an amazing platform, an amazing art form. And that's how I got into anime. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning with another episode of Good Morning Soul, and until then, let me know how you got into anime. And with that,